fish.
Welcome in the Bobby Carpenter Show, and we've got dueling double helix twin dongs in here for you, coming live from the Armory. Today is Pro Day. It's already started. 11 o'clock is when it went off at Ohio State. So huge day for the former, you're never really a former Buckeye, you're always a Buckeye, but the most recent players that are going to be leaving. Schlegs, the order of operations of what they're going to do, what are we looking like here?
You're looking like you're going to go in and you're going to get your weight. And then they're going to measure your hands for hand-to-dong ratio. I think probably in the locker room before they go in there, they measure that.
Why are you whispering?
Well. I don't know, because we're in here. We're in a room. Can I be louder?
Yeah.
Is this louder? Hey, man, my guy Ron Kiefer cut my hair yesterday looking snazzy, so I didn't wear a hat. But
did he give you a discount because it's so thin?
Golly. Now I got two things. I got thinning hair and small calves. It's freaking terrible. And he got me on this shampoo. I haven't got it yet. We'll charge it to win it. But anyways, so they're going to get their hand measurement. They're going to get their wingspan measured. They're going to get their height measured. All right. And there's a way of cheating this. What you do is you get some of those really small Gatorade cups and you like tear off the bottom and then you fold them and you stack them. You can stack them and you put them under your heels in your socks.
Yeah, that's what we do for Caleb at Kings Island to make sure you can get to 56 inches. So.
And then just because I measured, I think I was like 6008 and I'm really like 6006. So it gave me a couple. I mean, hey, it all matters. That's what she said. So then you do that. Then you go do your vertical jump in the room. Boom, super juicy, right? They're warming up already while they're walking around. Then they go do the bench. They might bench then vertical. I don't know. I don't know that. I'll have to get back to you. Then you got, there's my girls from the Fury. I see it.
Feel the Fury.
Feel the Fury. Anyways, so then you go outside, you're going to run the 40. Then you're going to go run the pro shuttle. Then you're going to do the L. Then you're going to broad jump. And it's all going to be in there. Like you're going to go boom, 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 boom. And then they're going to go to their individual position drills. So it's going to be a long day for them. They're going to have meetings afterward with some teams, but really exciting day for the dudes. And I don't know why I'm looking into the mic while we're doing a show on a Doomajink. I'm literally eye-bobbing this spec right here as though I was doing like speed work, max velo day. Sorry about that, everybody.
What's interesting is you mentioned that, and they start talking about weighing in. And there have been guys in the past, like I didn't want to weigh in on pro day. I weighed on the combine about 256, 257, but I didn't do anything because of my ankle. And so for pro day, I wanted to come in. I was like thinking light thoughts. So I didn't really eat much the night before. This morning I woke up. I was like on my my bodybuilding routine. Yes. I had just had like some eggs, not many, 4. And then I think I had some pineapple. I was like, give me a little juice with that. So I went in there, I weighed in, I weighed like 249. And people are like looking around. I'm like, listen, man, I'm running today. I've been working out more. It's like, do I look any smaller? They're like, no, you look fine. I'm like, okay. But I fought weighing in. And then Mick was talking yesterday. There was a couple guys they've had in the past that got DNFs on weigh-ins, did not finish because they wouldn't weigh in. Some of the bigger offensive linemen in the past, one of the biggest dudes ever in Ohio State history. I don't want to put his name out there, and he's playing well in the NFL now, but he didn't want to weigh in because when you're getting close to maybe a weight that they don't want you
keep
at.
Them guessing.
Yeah, keep them guessing. They can look at you and tell.
Oh, yeah.
I tell people, like, it doesn't lie.
That guy's thick. Like, what do you have? But you got to wait. Like in the NFL, you have mandatory weigh-ins, and you can find people for that because part of your job is to be that. And they're probably looking at like, oh, this guy plays outside backer. He could also be a 5 technique. Like, what do we want to be? Hey, he's 257. Why are you 249? Do you have like a parasite in there? Like, what have you been doing? I totally get it. I think I weighed in at like a solid 250. I was the opposite. I was probably the night before I had a couple Bud Heavies and some chicken wings with extra ranch. So I was probably tipping the scales at 52, feeling extra frothy.
Yeah. So I was very heavy or light that day, but I wanted light thoughts. And so here's the thing. I actually was telling
that was your one shot. Like you didn't have the combine.
Yeah.
That's like it's that's it. That's all you got.
Played some M&M beforehand, lose yourself, get ready, get in the moment. This was back in the day where we had our little mini MP3 players like that big. Gosh, yeah. I had it in my pocket. Like I had 30 songs on it. That was big. It was like 2 CDs.
Think about that. Back in the day, we were trying to find music players that were as small as possible And now we went to like the opposite direction.
Yeah, but you can because you can air there. You have these guys, and so
but you can move around, but like
just
your
put it off
phone's
your
still
watch.
there. Oh, that's true.
And dude, the when I go to run at Ohio
I
State,
put this on the Doom machine.
100%. I put it when I run at Ohio State. I'll run 110 schlegs. I'll put it at the 50-yard line, and it'll be able to get me both sides. So it goes 50 yards, so you can warm up and do it all. So we had a little deal on, but my ankle was still bothering me. And so this is people you talk about like your one shot in life and being able to go with things. And so this was it. And I mean, I ran well on my junior day the year before. I think I was high 4.5, low 4.6, weighed about the same. And so like that was it. And I just want to make sure that everyone knew I was back and ready to go. But I still really wasn't back and wasn't fully ready to go. So I knew that. And I could do everything except for the drive phase of the 40. Like once I got up and running, great. Lateral stuff, not a big deal. But like driving all that power when you weigh 250. At 230, it probably wouldn't have been as big a deal. But at 250, it was rough. And so I pulled out my special concoction elixir. And I'm not like a big pill guy. I never really was as far as pain pills. But that morning, I may have slugged down 3 or 4 Vicodin. And to offset the effects of barbiturates, which I was like going back to my DARE class and, 8th grade health, I was like, these are going to bring me down. I'm going to want to stay sharp and focused. So then I went to my Schlegs deal. I chased them down with a couple of Red Bulls to help offset it. So I'm like up there all crazed out, just.
And he was super, listen, probably them making you weigh in. Because that day, Bob was already fired up.
It's feisty.
Guys, he made him move this one drill.
And we're not to that story yet.
Okay, anyways, so
I weighed in. I was confrontational at that point.
It was already like listen, when you start your day off when it's already in conflict with Bob, it's just like I'm just there. It's like, oh my gosh. And AJ probably like each other like, oh man. And you know what? Here's the deal too. Like pro days can be actually very, very good. I didn't run particularly well at the combine. I think I ran like a 4.81.
Yeah.
And it was terrible. Like my back was like really tight because there was something the night before where I was like up super late. I was like sitting in this deal and I wasn't loose at all. And then I came back and I ran I think there's some people said I was in the 6s. Okay. But probably you average them together. So I'm going to say low 4.7s just to be real because I could get there. I 100% promise you. My acceleration was always really good.
Anyways. Top end was the issue.
Yeah. I never had to run top end. I played in the box. Who doesn't like playing in the box?
Absolutely.
I do.
Little box play. So he's always your favorite. And so then the other thing, so I did that to get to the point. We used to do our 40 first, which I always liked.
They do that now.
Do they do 40 first?
But you're in the weight room, so they do the bench and the vertical in the weight room.
Yes.
And the vertical gets a CNS going anyways, and then they go right to the 40.
You know about all the science of that. I like to warm up and get 40 run.
I agree.
It's more efficient to do it the way Mick does it, where everyone's in the weight room. You do vertical, and you do bench in there, and then you go outside, then you do 40, and then all your other agility tests, and then you do position drills.
Matter of fact, I do know it goes vertical because they do it. It takes a little bit longer because you're hitting the Dumajings, right? And then as soon as you're done, it's that same order. And then those people go over and they warm up in their bench and they got the bench rack and they already have like set up weights for you to like warm up on. And then boom, they're done. It's go time and it's all timed up. And then the bench happens. And then those guys go out, boom, they're already starting to do their dynamic warm up and their 40 prep, right? They do some like sled marches before, boom, and it's go time. Show your back to the camera, run. Look.
Yeah, and Mick runs it quick. I mean, they'll be done in probably less than 4 hours. So it'll be a nice pace that they'll be able to operate at.
Medium pace.
A medium pace. So they'll be able to operate and get that thing done pretty efficiently. So they'll go from that, and they go outside, 40 drills and all that. The other part of it is pro day. Schlegs is the outfits.
Oh, yeah.
So,
my God.
Yeah, there you go. So you're trying to jump. You want to.
I can't jump. You run this. It's your show. It's your name's on the deal.
I mean, but so – we all wore long sleeves, the tight long sleeves. So usually you want to be fast, you want to be light. So you wear your compression.
I have a long sleeve on.
Yeah, compression shorts or leggings, and you'll warm up like sweats over top of it. And then you've got some guys wear like the short sleeve tight stuff. Some guys wear the long sleeve tight stuff. So we wore long sleeve. AJ was wearing long sleeves for sure.
He always wears long sleeves.
And normally wears black, but he had white on that day.
He did.
I think to make him look paler, maybe. I don't know. And we all had our hair like half pulled back. It is pretty sweet to watch a dude run a 40 and his hair is just flying behind him. So AJ had that. And I think I went first because it's alphabetically. Maybe someone went one before me. But I had on
all white.
All white. The white long leggings,
yeah.
White long sleeve.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, when Clark Kent's going to Superman, you want to make sure you got the right uniform on out there. And it's funny because Schleik's had on, I think you and AJ both had on white long sleeves. I think you had black, and you and AJ both had black bottoms. I was the only dude that went like straight white bottom.
White, all way. Like you're in a, and you want to see, like you wanted to see, like they wanted them to see how big you were, and like it's also look good, feel good, play good. Like this is my one,
fast.
shot.
You look fast.
Hey, listen, that's why we wear white, because like it makes you look faster.
Yeah.
You know,
you look faster. So my thought was
more athletic. That's why we wore vapors. Like think athletic thoughts, guys.
So that's what I wanted to do. So put that look good, feel good, play good. Put the all whites on, feeling good about that. Went and ran. And the cleats were white. I mean, everything. I did have the white cleats on. Yeah, I still have my waffles. You still have your waffles? Like, so we would run. Now they run on the field turf. Yeah. We used to have this strip of the old school turf because they always said at Ohio State they would measure it every year because the times would come out of there crazy fast because the turf was on basically concrete. So there was no spring into it. You're just driving in the ground. So there was no give. And they would measure it every year. So you buy these old waffle spikes. It's like a cross-country spike and wear those. I still have mine. I'm like, I only wore them like 3 times. Well, I'm not a hoarder. If I ever need to do a combine again, I'm going to have my waffle spikes. And part of it was my dad had his stuff that he ran. I was like, you know what? One day if my kids ever wear 13 and one of them need these, which they won't now.
They're disintegrate by that.
No, they're not. Dude, they're in good shape. I put them on and walked around with them just to make sure the other day. Mine are silver with a red check. They look amazing. The Nike ones. So they're great. And so we would do that. I went down there and ran pretty well. I think I ran 4.6s that day. You know, nothing spectacular because I knew that my ankle was a little jacked up. And then you go to your different drills. And so then you get onto the field turf.
Yeah.
And the field turf, everybody knows, is filled with those black pellets. And those pellets suck balls. And when you go over them so many times, they start to pile up and then you start to slide. And so since I was doing everything, I was usually getting to some of the later drills last. I think it was the L drill, which was probably
the L drill.
It was that's my best drill. And for like size and speed, it's where you literally run up, back, and then you go around a corner and you turn them back.
Which also is indicative of playing outside back or DN, right? They want to see how you can bend.
Turn the corner, can you bend it? And it was balled up. So I I think I just grabbed.
No, you did it and you slipped.
Yeah.
And then you did it again and you slipped. And everybody's like, come on. And they're like, no, move the drill. And then there was expletives. And they were like, why is your dude I'm like, it's his one day. Move the drill. Like, we have 100 yards of turf. Like, again, as you get older and you look, right? Today at Pro Day, they literally will have probably 3 to 4 multiple spots for a pro shuttle and an L drill and the broad jump, so that it doesn't ball up and guys don't slip because you want them to have as best advantage as they possibly can. So and we know the scouts because we like in the process, you're talking to people. They're like, dude, what's up with your boy? I'm like, you should move it. It's not like everybody else is gone. Like, just move the drill. Like, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
I don't blame you for that. I think that was great. Yeah. Stand up for yourself. It's your day. That's the other thing too. I think sometimes people forget, like, it's their day. And it's about the team. Like, bro, these are guys' opportunity to go to the NFL. Most of you slap cocks that are out there, most of your slap dicks out there that are scouting it, never played. Sorry, didn't. Facts. So I think sometimes too much in this world, we lose perspective of like, who are the people that are actually putting the work in? And I'm just the evaluator of the talent. But like, if they're the ones that have to showcase their talent, then guess what? Let them showcase it. Don't make it about you being a hard ass. Like, just serve people. Anyways, that's kind of the takeaway from that day. Because I knew when I ran the pro day at Ohio State, like, I was thinking about those things because you want them to be as successful as you possibly can be. That's all.
Yeah.
It was a great day. Great stories too, by the way. Great memories.
Oh, it was.
Never dropped the pass. And then we did the deal. You're right. We've already talked about
the fact that you mentioned we never dropped the pass, because I did not remember that way.
Bro, I'm telling you, man, when you go over there today, they're going to say.
Well, the guys it's a lot of the same guys. Now, I will say this, like, a lot of these guys have started to age out, meaning the guys who are the regional scouts. So everybody's usually sending like their regional scout. You're going to Ohio State. The guy that has like the Big Ten plus like Louisville, Kentucky, West Virginia, like the Great Lakes region, that guy will probably live in Pittsburgh, Columbus, or Indy, or Detroit, or something like that. And they'll travel through all this stuff and they do their reports. And so then they come here and they're always going to Ohio State. They're almost always going to Michigan. And then if you have like particular players of guys of interest, then it might be a position coach that comes. And if it's like high level guys, then you might get a head coach or a coordinator or a GM. And so if you're looking for a quarterback, you're getting like director of college scouting, you're getting like 5 guys coming from a team. If they're looking at Will Howard, maybe whatever, second round. If you're looking at taking, Zeke Elliott or Joey Bosa, like everybody was there for those high level guys. I think Kyle Shanahan was here when they took Nick Bosa. Like these guys just all come here, and especially if it's close. Vrabes used to come out from Tennessee. I would anticipate Vrabel being here again just because it's where he's from. But Mike Tomlin, you get Cincinnati a lot of times, Cleveland, Detroit, Indy. It's because it's an easy flight or it's very drivable, so it's not a big deal. But they're all going to be here. But those regional scouts, they're the same guys, and they've been doing the same stuff for a long time. But now a lot of those guys have moved into director of college scouting roles. They've moved into assistant GM. Maybe they moved to the pro personnel side as they've moved up. And so they're only here for maybe some of the big guys. And so I'm curious to be able to see those guys this year, who all is here, what all that looks like, because they'll bring up like, hey, they'll bring up, hey, you going to go today? And what's funny, Schleiss, is before I started doing my morning show, I would always go over there and work out from like 6 to 8 or, 6 to 8, that'd be around 8 o'clock. And that's the scouts all get there early because they'll come in, they'll do the medical and talk to the trainers. They'll talk to Mickey Marotti. Yeah. They have all these meetings before. Maybe they'll meet with some of the players and they'll watch some film as if they haven't watched enough already. But they'll watch that stuff. But I would usually be finishing up lifting or running, and the guys would joke like, "You warming up? Like, you ready for today? Like, is this your time?" Yeah. And like make jokes.
Come back.
I'm like, dude, I'm gonna go shower.
Or no, are you gonna get on the scale this time? I shit you not. Like that happens, man. People, they remember those things. Oh, yeah. Are you gonna get on the scale this time? You gonna whine about it? Like I wasn't. Whatever. It's amazing. Great stories.
I joke. I'm like, I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna shower. Go home. Shower. I'm gonna eat.
Dude, Cam, he's like the head of scouting for the Patriots.
Cam. Not Cam Jordan.
No, you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, it starts with a W. Cam Williams.
Cam Williams.
Yeah, Cam Williams. Like he's in charge, and he'll probably
be here. Oh, he'll be here. Stamper will be here.
Stamp will be here from the Jags. Ryan Stamper. So there's always guys like that they get a chance to come back to Columbus. I got Pat Stewart, who's now the GM for Nebraska. He worked with New England for a long time. He won't be here. He won't be here because he works for Nebraska. Curious if they made a joke whether Harbaugh was going to be here.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't it be funny?
Be amazing. Him and Weiss coming in.
Weiss? Yeah. I don't know if Weiss is coming in.
Is he not coming in? I thought he was paroled.
I mean, dude, they got a federal indictment against Matt Weiss, so I don't know if he's going to be able to
probably won't make it today.
Make the cut if.
I wonder if he was going to go with Harbaugh before he got indicted.
Probably not. I think Jim was cutting the dead weight. Anybody that was moderately associated with that, they were making the snips.
Cut it out, boom, Full House.
Yeah,
cut it out, Full House style.
Perfect.
Anyways, yeah. What else is going on?
So we've got all that, but that's going to be the outline for Pro Day. So we're going to head over here after this. Tomorrow we'll have a full breakdown of everything that's ultimately going on. So please make sure you stay locked in over here. So I'm going to probably I'm guessing we're missing the bench and the vertical. Probably
how much you bench?
Probably get back there for the 40s and most of that. So that'll be good, and that'll all be taken care of from that standpoint. And then the position drills is what I really like to watch. Yeah. That's the big thing because you watch guys
probably
move.
Start at 1:30.
Yeah. And Ryan was talking to the guys too yesterday because you're going to have a lot of current players that are going to want to go. We used to always go and watch Pro Day. It was a big deal. And you want to look good. And so I think Brandon Ennis and Carnell Tate, as we talked about yesterday, they'll be running routes along with Emeka and G. Scott, and then the running backs for Will. So those guys will be able to show their wares.
Great because they're sophomores, or they're going to be juniors.
Yes,
it's perfect because that's probably why JJ's not.
Yeah,
because it's for the guys that are potentially could come out the next year.
Yeah.
And so you guys know.
Yeah, so you've got that element with it to be able to show. And you don't want JJ to suck all the air up in the room because Ryan did a great job telling him to the current guys, yes, tomorrow is your day, is the player's day. It's not yours. So dude, when guys do good stuff, hype them up. Yeah.
He's
the scouts are going to sit there and they're looking. It'll be juiceless.
Guys,
he's so hype guys up. Get guys excited when you see stuff or get some music, get some energy going.
Yeah.
Make sure you support your dudes. And so you're going to see a lot of that and see some energy. But the one rule was if you have class today, you cannot skip class to be able to do it. So I had class before this. I teach a class at 3:55, so I'll be able to see
I
Pretty much
got to leave at 2:00. I got the ROTC training over here at the Armory today.
Buckeyes.
Train
Train like a Buckeye.
Train yourself.
Train like an American soldier, Schlegs.
Exactly.
Be a soldier. We love to see that. So that's a little rundown of some stories, how Pro Day is going to go as well. Coming up, tomorrow we'll get all that for you. But I want to tell you about our friends at Export real quick. Parents and athletes, protect what matters most with Export mouth guards, trusted by professional athletes and designed by an NHL team dentist. Export mouth guards are scientifically tested to absorb those high-impact hits. They feature 3 layers of advanced protection, including patented use of carbon fiber. They 3D print that bad boy so it fits your grill perfectly for more protection, better performance, max comfort, clear communication. Focus on your game, not on your gear. Don't take chances with your safety. Visit exportguards.com/Bobby today. Save 15% on your order. Export, protect what matters most. NIL is in full effect. Transfer portal is all out there. Is it good for college football? Is it good for college basketball? Well, one team might be taking a step back and dropping down. We'll talk about that next here on the Bobby Carpenter Show. All right, welcome back into the Bobby Carpenter Show. And my guy Schlegs, well, he's out of commission right now. He wandered away. We never know where he is. But I want to talk about this. NCAA tournament basketball is in full effect. We talked to Bill Bender about it yesterday. Pretty remarkable stuff. And in the first 4, we watched Toledo, or not Toledo, what's Toledo, St. Francis? St. Francis of Pennsylvania. And they've got one of their players is from Dayton. It was a nice game. It was a big deal that he had. Everything looked really good. And they just made the announcement that St. Francis, well, they're D1 in basketball, they're D3 in just about everything else. They are going to be moving in basketball down to Division III. They said with NIL, transfer portal, and everything, Schlegs, they can no longer compete. And they've played like Ohio University, I think, in the past. They scheduled, they're having Bowling Green maybe next year. And they're going to stay for one more season in Division I. But the Red Flash, they lost to Alabama State in the first 4. And I don't understand. They're going to be joining the President's Athletic Conference starting in 2026. But to me, everyone they're talking about, they can't compete with NIL and all this stuff. Well, the conference that you're competing in is going to be in the same situation you are. It's not like they're going against, Kentucky. You might play them during the regular season non-conference, but you're not going to beat them anyway, usually. So that's what is amazing to this with me is the fact that they're making this decision. They're saying it's, academic and we want to compete in, what do they call it? Scholastic athletics or amateur athletics. And I get that, but that's what they're going to be playing anyway because they're not going to have any money for NIL, but no one else really around them is either.
Yeah, this was interesting because I heard about you speak on this on Morning Juice, and that's a great point. There could be other underlying things here, like they're spending too much, right? It could even be the program itself from not only the scholarships, but you're still going to have to travel. I know that Division III is more localized in, the groups that you play, but you're still going to be spending money if you want college athletics. I don't understand that. Part of it is who you are and you know what that budget is. And you could easily say hey, we don't do NIL here. We're Division I. Yeah. We don't do NIL. And you're going to know you might get a kid or two and develop them and they leave. Fine. Right. But to me, right when you were talking about that, I'm automatically thinking fourth place right there. What's that from? What's the one with Will Ferrell? Will Ferrell, let's get tropical.
Tropic Thunder?
Yeah, no. That's a movie.
Oh,
Semi-pro.
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking about.
With Buddy,
fourth place.
With Moon?
1 year, yeah, 1 year, yeah.
What is his name? Moon?
Buddy Moon. No. John. No. So you guys find it on the Doom
It's
Machine.
Moon.
No, it's Moon.
Oh, man. This is bad. It's a couple of dudes with CTE. Jackie Moon.
Yeah, Jackie Moon.
My CTE.
Love me sexy. Yeah, that was a great song. Nothing but the hits. Anyway, that's kind of my point. My thought is this: it's like, just declare. You can stay D1. Just declare, hey man, we don't do NIL here. We do this. Like, I don't understand unless there's other underlying things that they're spending too much money and they want to go down. I don't know.
Yeah, but they've always been doing this, saying that they want to compete in amateur athletics. Like, too much money. Okay, if they don't want to pay for the scholarships anymore, I get that. But everybody in their current league, like, is going to be in the Northeast Conference this year. Like, they're going down, obviously, the President's Athletic Conference, like I talked about, but everybody in their current conference is going to be in the same boat. Like, they may play bigger teams in the non-conference, but that's like saying for, Bowling Green, well, they don't have as much money, NIL money as Ohio State, so we're going to go down to Division III. Well, you've never had the resources and understanding of that. Like, it's never been where UAB has ever been Alabama. And so you just don't have to spend as much, but you can still play and still operate at that level. That, to me, is what it was incredibly shocking, Schleiks, to see. Is like, I would say this. I think they probably have wanted to do this, and now they're using this as potentially as the reason and as the crutch. That's the only thing I can think of. And I guess to further this is the first time this has happened. Do you see this happening more? Because for a long time, it was always about, how can I climb the rungs of the divisions? How can I go from FCS to FBS, or old 1AA to Division 1A, or go from Division 2 to 1AA, or whatever it is, and like go through that? How do you think this will happen more?
I think it's going to happen where you're going to have a CFP division, and then you're going to have and then you're going to have the FBS division. I literally believe like it's going to be the haves and the have-nots.
But has it ever not been the haves?
No, but you can still make revenue. Like, that's the point, right? Like, if you don't want to build the facilities and do NIL and do revenue sharing and have that type of product, like, speak now, forever hold your peace, be an FBS school. You're going to be above the FCS schools. And then you're going to have the ones that want to all be about it. And you're going to probably get a collective of 60 of them, right? It could be maybe 80. And then you're going to divide it up in like 20, 20, 20, 20. Like, the Power Four is kind of going toward, and you're going to have that. And those are going to be the ones that do what they do. And then the other ones are going to be the ones that do what they do. And that's just how it's going to be, I think, moving forward. So I can see that in 5 years.
So one of the things that was brought up in the chat here is, I thought revenue sharing was the reason. I'm like, revenue sharing is based upon TV revenue, and you can spend up to a certain amount. You don't have to spend all of that. Like, there's no requirement for you to spend that. Now, maybe conferences could do that and some other things like that, but there is no requirement, Schleiks, for you to go out there and spend this many dollars on stuff. So it's like, I tell people, like, it's a choice. Like, you can still compete, and yeah, you might not be getting the best players, but when were you ever going to get a better player than, Pitt or, even, St. Joe's or something like that? Like, you're not going to get better players in those schools.
The hardest thing would be, and you're right, you put it in there, that the max that you're allowed to spend on that is $20 million. That's kind of like the cap.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's kind of like your spending cap on it. And then NIL is not going away. The collectives are not going away. They're going to be the ones that are underwriting, maybe, so to speak. Would that be a good term?
Well, here's the thing.
Like, some of the other endeavors that you want to do. Well, brought me back to like why we should own our own brand and generate other revenue, because you got to have other streams to be able to facilitate all the different things that you want to do. And I think the way that they share the college football playoff money needs to be changed. Well, a little bit of a meritocracy.
That's a conference thing. It's by conference, and there's shares, and that's why the Big Ten, shares it all evenly. So Purdue gets the same amount.
That's where it's
as
like,
Ohio State.
Yeah, we all get the same guys. So it's like,
and maybe that changes.
Always can compete, but
are you even trying to compete? Well, we'll get into all that. That's a bigger conversation later, because we got some good news, some positive juice. Your guy Tyler Bowen,
Oh man,
new offensive line coach.
Yeah, I can't wait to see him today.
Well, let's get on over there and say hi to him. Great dude. But he's doing a heck of a job bringing in some big-time Buckeyes. We'll talk about that next here on the Bobby Carpenter Show.
The Big Play Sports Network. Download the free app today to watch all of your favorite hosts on demand.
I'm Garage Beer, and this is Bobby Carpenter.
Garage Beer. Beer-flavored beer.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool, and it doesn't taste like... I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink Garage Beer. It's American, and so can you. Garage Beer. Beer-flavored beer. All right, Schlegs' dude, Tyler Bowen, the new offensive line coach coming in from Virginia.
He's gotten girthier too, by the way. I'm going to talk about him.
Captain Thickness.
Yeah, he's getting thicker, man. Look at those cheeks.
Well, he's done a great job. And one of the things, Justin Fry did a tremendous job last year developing that offensive line. But
100%.
one of the issues they talked about was Justin Fry the best recruiter? I don't know. There's some things that happen. And it helps a lot when you can get great players that are in-state guys because those guys are always easier to get. And two, you don't want to spend a ton of NIL. I would always discourage that on high school commits at offensive line. Why? Because you're not getting any return on those guys. If they're playing as a freshman, either A, they're Orlando Pace, or B, your offensive line isn't very good. And usually it's B because there's not a whole lot of Orlando Paces walking through the door as you go through that. It's so great right there, Schlegs. Sorry, I just stumbled into that.
I'm moving.
But but Tyler Bowen came in, and Ohio's got some great offensive line talent this year. He already had one guy locked in with Maxwell Riley, who's a 4-star out of Avon Lake, Ohio.
Boom.
Go for it. Say it. Oh,
Mike DeAndrea.
The home of Mike DeAndrea, absolutely.
Mike D.
Mike D. and Avon Lake. And then yesterday he just secured a big-time commitment from Sam Greer, who's Archbishop Hoban, right out there out of Akron. Big-time guy, another 4-star guy.
Big guy.
Both of these guys could be 5-star guys, two of the top offensive linemen in the country. And so it helps Tyler Bowen a little bit that these guys are Buckeyes. And obviously they had already been offered prior to him getting here.
Which was also one of the things on Fry was that he didn't get the best talent out of the state of Ohio.
And so that's the thing. Like, are you getting the best players out of the state? And then can you go get pieces that maybe you don't have and fill those guys in from other places and maybe supplement it? But Ohio does a pretty good job of producing offensive linemen. And so it's great to see Tyler Bowen in there. People are juiced up. If you see some of the comments on the side of this deal with everything that he's got, bro, Ryan Day is in his bag with these hires. It's like we're upgrading. I appreciate Justin Fry, but recruiting was lacking. It was a big deal. And here's the thing. We're going to figure out, the offensive line coaching because Justin Fry, people can say whatever the hell they want. He did a hell of a job juggling that situation last year.
Too.
A great dude. Josh Fryer is the only guy who was the starter at his original position for the entirety of the season. And so they developed depth in the interior of the offensive line during the season this year while winning a national championship. And now you have 4 guys over guard, center, guard who have played a lot of ball. So you've got to work on your tackles. But it's awesome to see like Tyler Bowen being able to come in and do this. And now you're getting hopefully elite talent and frame and size to work with. And so that hopefully will translate into some great players.
And also like Justin had the Armstrong twins. They were under him. They're there. They're doing a really nice job. You brought in the transfers from Rice and Minnesota. They're going to compete at the tackle position. So you got some people there. How are those going to be developed? And again, but it goes back to, it's funny. It's like in sales, right? It's always be closing. And your boy Tom would always talk about always be coaching. But like part of that, they're all the same when you go, you're selling yourself, you're selling the university. Guys want to be with people that care about them authentically. How do you build that relationship early on? And obviously, like I think Warren, wasn't it Warren, the tight end, Tyler Warren from Penn State? That was Tyler Bowen's find. Like the dude can find talent, he can recruit talent, and he also is an offensive mind, which is also going to help Brian Hartline. So again, great hire, but it's cool to see just kind of the momentum that he's built just barely a month into being on the job, and you got 2 big-time offensive line recruits from the state of Ohio. Awesome for him. Absolutely.
All right. Coming up next, we got our headlines. Talk a little bit about Pro Day, what we're expecting to see today. 2 receivers who we touched on might be running around and what could benefit them. Here coming up next on the Bobby Carpenter Show. All right, welcome back in, please. We've crossed the 10,000 subscriber mark, but listen,
let's get to 20. Let's get to 20.
Yeah, leave your comments in the chat. We love it. Comment on it if you watch it later. We love all of that. It's all good stuff for us. We'll always get your stuff answered here in our tailgate talk coming up next. But want to get to this. We throw the Carnell Tate stuff up there. Everybody speculated that J.J. Smith was going to run around. Ryan Day confirmed that it's going to be Carnell Tate and Brandon in this running route. So if you saw them, they probably lightened their load a little bit yesterday. I'm guessing they'll practice tomorrow. They'll probably not practice a whole lot, given the fact they get some young guys some action, Mylan Graham and some of these young dudes that are out there. But in doing that, it's going to rest those guys because they're probably, Schlags, I'm guessing, going to get maybe 25 to 30 routes in a piece today.
Yeah, and they're built for that. I mean, I've seen Brian Hartline's Indy drills, and they are real. So it's going to be a good day for them. I think it's one of those ones where you're obviously with a Mecca. But again, why are they doing this? 1, to showcase what they could do next year. 2, it's to allow Mecca to have a little bit of a blow along with G. Scott. I don't know who the tight ends are. Will be Will and the other tight end?
Maybe just Will.
Probably just
Will's a senior.
Right. Well, the other one's going to be a senior too, the kid from Purdue.
Yeah, but he just got here.
Right.
I don't know if they're affording him the same luxury.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So Will, but again, give those guys a little bit of a blow. But honestly, it's about the timing for Will Howard because it's also his day, right? So as they're working through, like I expect Will to have a really good day-to-day throwing the football because he's with guys that he knows and they know him. So again, and you're comfortable, you're in your own environment. I think it's going to be a great day for all those offensive skill positions. And the running backs, man, I'm excited to watch them too.
Yeah, so you want to make sure, understanding this, like the quarterback drops back, receivers they're running all these different routes. And so it takes a lot of juice because you got to think you're running a 20-yard route, 30-yard route with cuts and all that stuff. Then you got to turn around and jog your butt back and get in line again. So you're talking, twice the yardage of whatever routes you're running with a lot of speed. You're getting half of that back, Schlags, in a recovery jog. And 3 receivers sounds like a lot, but it's really not that much.
Where you're normally doing like 10.
Yeah.
You're normally like 10, and you're going to have 5. Like it's going to be a 1-to-5 ratio unless they throw the running backs in there to do some routes,
and they may slow it down, but usually they'll throw the same route like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
So they'll get those guys all through, flip it to the other side, maybe work the running backs in between. But the other thing too is like when you warm them all up, you got to keep these guys going. You don't want to have them do something. And maybe what they typically do is they'll do the receiver stuff early, and then they do the passing to them, and then you'll do the running back stuff at the end because then the running backs, you got to remember, they'll go through and they want to see them through bags, do some blocking, cutting, and you don't want to see those guys get warmed up, then cool off, and then warm up. Like it's just a lot that you ask. So they try to pair that up quite nicely, Schlags, as they go through it. And so that's another piece and element of it. And you're going to watch these guys go out there and compete in a big way. And it gives them wets the beak a little bit. I remember like 2 years ago when people saw, Jackson, when he came out, when they saw Marv, like last year when people were watching Emeka, they're like, this guy looks like he's just as good as any of these guys. And so it's a big recruiting pitch.
Yeah.
When you're Brian Hartline, say, hey, you come here, we're going to have first-round wide receivers. And when a guy's going in the first round the next year, you guys get to train and run around. So all these guys get to see you. So now they're going to be paying more attention to you all year long. You're going to be at the forefront of everybody's thoughts. And like that that's how you begin to build the depth in that room, and you make it look so robust because everybody wants to go, and like you get to do something that, like, there's pro days for at big time Division I schools that are Power 5 schools that their seniors aren't going to get as much viewing and as much run as these guys. So that's what you want, is ultimately exposure.
I mean, Penn State's pro day is not going to have a ton of guys. Like Michigan's pro day is not going to have a ton of guys. Like, it's packed, guys. Like, we're going in, we're spectators. Quinn Temple got us some passes, right? So we're going to walk in. You got to check in the bigs, get your Doomajink, stand on the sidelines and stuff. Probably, I mean, honestly, we need a lot of fluffers out there. You got to fluff them up.
Got to hype them.
Got to hype them. Hype guys, because it's about them. But for Brandon, like let's think about this, right? Brandon's coming in, wanting to be that slot guy.
Hurry up.
Okay. Want to be that slot guy. There's your guy. How does that guy stack up against him in the drills? Boom. I got to watch this guy. It's just a nugget, right? It's that first impression. And that's what they have an opportunity to do, unlike you can at a bunch of other schools in front of a lot of people, a lot of decision makers.
That's it for headlines. Coming up next, we answer your questions in Real Talk, Tailgate Talk, brought to you by our friends at Real Truck. All right, welcome into our Tailgate Talk, brought to you by our friends at Real Truck. Bring your truck Jeep Bronco to life on the inside, on the outside, everything it needs at realtruck.com. They can bring it, they can get it done for you in a big way. So huge stuff right there. Go check them out. Coming up, we got some more questions here that we're going to answer. First question, Schlegs.
Yeah.
From Phil J.
Hey, Phil.
What are the coaches and scouts looking for during these pro day workouts? How much weight do these workouts carry versus the film?
Film always is king, but they want to see, like, gas station ready. How ready are they? And they've already been evaluating other people, but now they get to talk to Mick. And they've already been doing a lot of their homework, but it's just them in their environment. How do they carry themselves? How do they talk to people? But how do they do in these drills? Like, what does that look like from the combine to now? Have they gotten better? You got to remember too, man, like a lot of our guys did their stuff literally 4 weeks out of playing in a national championship game because you had the 1 week off. Everybody else had 8 weeks plus on a majority of those teams. So it's like, how have they gotten better? And then you want to see how they compete, how they finish. How does this guy carry himself as a pro? Because that's really what you're trying to get guys that are ready to go now, and that's what they're evaluating.
So they want to see like how you bend, and in person, you can see things on film, and you're like, hey, how tall is that guy? How low is he getting? A lot of times they want to see
he's way bigger.
He's way bigger than I thought on film. Maybe he plays bigger than what he is, but can he bend? Like, you want to see the evaluation. Times are important, but in the individual drills, like, how do they look? How do they move through space? And so those things just kind of confirm or deny what you think you already know. And then the other component of that is they want to see if there's guys like, what's your work ethics like? Like, okay, you got ramped up for the combine. You were in front of everybody. Now you've had another month. If you're just doing position drills, is your rear end coming in like 15 pounds overweight? Are you still in good shape? And like, that's the other part of work. The position drills, as we talked about having other wide receivers in there and you need more guys, the position drills will gas you. And they want to make sure, like, are you in shape? This is the biggest interview of your life. And it's not just one. The combine's a part of it. The visits are a part of it. Your pro day's a part of it. Any Senior Bowl or Shrine Bowl, whatever it is. But this is the biggest. It's a prolonged interview. Can you take it seriously? Can you lock in for 4 months after the season and get it done? Because you know what? The NFL season, you talk about camp to end, is like 6.5. If you're getting in the playoffs and Super Bowl and everything else, are you a slap? Like, can you stay focused for that amount of time? Or do you begin to like drift away and start getting, drunk and smoking dope and gaining weight and all that stuff? Because if you can't do it now and the money's on the line, like once we give you money, you're going to be more of what you already are. And if you're someone who works hard and disciplined, yeah, you allocate your time well and you'll do those things. If you're someone who's barely hanging on, well, you're going to do the other stuff that you want to do better. It's probably a little easier, a little more fun. And so that's another big piece of it, is just, it's another data point. over the timeline of history where when people look at it, hey, he was here, he was here, he was here. They want to see guys that are consistent, a little bit of variation.
Yeah.
Parcells said, I don't want any yo-yos. We want guys that are, hey, they're great this day. They were bad on this individual workout. Their butt wasn't in shape on pro day, but then we came back and worked them out, and then they were in shape again. And understand, like, guys get sick, things happen, and that goes on. Real. But, like, they want to make certain that, like, you're consistently ready to go. Gas station ready.
Gas station ready.
Waffle House ready, Schlegs. It knows no international boundaries. So if you have to play a game in Sao Paulo, Brazil, or over in Spain, España this year, like, you're going to be ready to go, and you'll be Waffle House / gas station ready at all times. All right. That's it for our tailgate talk, brought to you by our friends at Real Truck. Go check them out at realtruck.com. Bring your truck or Jeep Bronco to life, just like Schlegs and I have. Coming up, we're going to wrap up the show with Schlegs' parting thoughts.
Welcome to Big Play, the fastest growing sports media company in America.
I'm gonna keep it straight with you. The reason you should watch our show is because I look good, baby.
Come get some!
Join our millions of fans for live sports talk shows hosted by the top former athletes and sports personalities in the industry.
Ohio, it's my home state.
Obviously, I'm a diehard Cleveland sports fan.
Watch what you want, where you want, when you want. Welcome to Big Play.
Make sure you tune in.
I love you, Cleveland.
All right, and now we have our parting thoughts from Anthony Schlegel. It's going to be one of the other questions from the chat, because I want to get to this, Pat, so if we can throw this up. It is from Taylor there at the bottom. When Will Howard has a great pro day, how will the scouts look at that versus an okay combine performance?
Yeah, here's the deal. I feel like he's going to have a great pro day. I think it will weigh over. They will weigh that over what he did at the combine, and they'll also remember that the fact that he had one of the greatest performances in a four-game streak during the college football playoff than anybody else, beating the teams that he beat. You take that, you take the routes with the guys that he's comfortable with. Like, that's what quarterback play is. Like, you're not going to go out there on Sunday and just have random wide receivers that I'm throwing to. You're going to have developed a relationship and a pattern and timing and rhythm with your guys. That's what allows you to be a great quarterback in the confines of what you're comfortable with. I think that if he has a great day today, that will weigh significantly more than what he did at the combine. They'll evaluate the last 4 games in the totality of his season. How he developed as a quarterback weighs way more than he did at the combine.
Buckeyes, that's it for today's show. We'll have a combine or pro day updates tomorrow. Stay locked in on the Bobby Carpenter Show.